Attawapiskat, a First Nations Cree community in northern Ontario near James Bay, has called on the government for assistance in dealing with a shortage of housing. The situation has been called a crisis. About 1,800 people live in the northern Ontario community where a severe housing shortage has forced families to live in tents and unheated trailers, some without access to running water and electricity. The emergency crisis was declared about a month ago, and the Red Cross arrived on Tuesday to aid families living in tents with temperatures as low as minus 20 Celsius or -4 Fahrenheit. Prime Minister Stephen Harper sprung into action, saying that the community got $90 million in federal funds since 2006. He blamed the inadequate management by the local band council as the source of the failure. In response, he's ordered the community to be put under a third-party management and have an audit done to find out where the money went. This is what he said. There's a need, obviously, for more services and infrastructure. There is clearly a need for better management. The government will ensure both of these things. That's over 50,000 for every man, woman, and child in the community. Obviously, we're not happy that the results do not seem to have been achieved for that. We're concerned about that. We have officials looking into it and taking action. Interim Liberal leader Bob Rae responded to Mr. Harper by saying that 90 million figure is misleading. It includes many services, education, water, sewers, and housing infrastructure. The CBC's Adrian Arsenault has been reporting that the 90 million that has been spread over the last 6 years has been spent on many services. They are services that are normally covered by municipalities or provinces elsewhere in the country. In Ontario, these are covered by the federal government under the Indian Act. This money is not spent on a single community. It is spread over several communities in northern Ontario. She said that the sum left for housing is about $1 million, which in the north can build about 4 homes. The Indigenous community has not responded as the Conservative government had hoped. The residents of the area and First Nations decried the call to have a third party inspect the books and perform an audit. Many have claimed that as they have called for help, the government has called for them to be punished. The Assembly of First Nations National Chief Sean Atlow spoke about the crisis. Ottawa knows best what is for First Nations and imposes its will. That legacy has not worked, and that is the status quo we must smash. Unfortunately, in this situation, the division of funds per capita is not an adequate way of measuring resources. People don't understand how expensive infrastructure is. Even limited roads, sewage, electricity would cost tens to hundreds of millions of dollars. A team of engineers and fully equipped work crews can cost tens of thousands of dollars a day. The shipping costs of getting construction materials that far north is astronomical. I personally support such an audit. I sincerely doubt that any significant abnormalities will be found. This is a very typical scene throughout Canada and the US. The Indigenous population has been left in rotting conditions. Those who would tout the supposed greatness and supposed successes of Western capitalism always seem to forget about this section of the population. Instead, attention is focused on the profits of large firms and tall skyscrapers in large cities, nicely far away from the realities of the desperate poverty that still exists despite all those achievements.